Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of year where you gather around with your families and eat too much and also look for deals on tech on the internet. In today's video, we're going to do the latter, not the former. There will be no eating on this video. We're going to be looking at some current Black Friday, early Black Friday deals for some of the smartphones, the devices that I talk about and use every single day in my personal life and also here on this channel. And we're going to start off with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now, I'm not saying through any of this that you can't go on Swappa or eBay and find a better deal. We're just looking at what the official discounts are going to be. Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 right now, rather than being, in this case, $19.99, is going to be $15.99. Let's go ahead and click on this. And of course, that is the 256 gigabyte variant. That's a fairly substantial discount. Now, unfortunately, that's still a lot of money. Now, this is a phone that you guys know that I really, really enjoy. It's where my sim is right now. I was actually using the 10 Pro Fold for a couple of days because I wanted to try out the notification summaries thing. I have the setting, I've turned it on, and it just wasn't summarizing anything. So I just put my sim back in the Z Fold 7. I absolutely adore this phone. I've talked about it ad nauseum, and it is discounted. If you've been waiting for a chance to get it for a little bit cheaper, $15.99 somehow is actually a little bit cheaper than what it normally is. If you're looking for a foldable for an even lower price, though, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is also currently on sale, delivery actually tomorrow, $14.99. Now, this is a device that starts at $17.99, dropping down to $14.99, so you got to keep that in mind. But it is still $100 cheaper than the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And this is also a fantastic, tremendous device. I've spent basically, since it came out, most of my time switching between it and the Z Fold 7. The cameras are quite solid. The battery life is absolutely outstanding. Gotta love all the fun pixel features. And, I mean, if you like the way that it looks, then you like the way that it looks. I do have the green, the Jade model, which does not actually look anything like this in person, but nonetheless, $14.99. While I've not used these phones, it is worth noting that the Pixel 10 series in general is also getting discounted, or actually, I guess, kind of maintaining the discount that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. $599 for the Pixel 10, $749 for the 10 Pro, and then the Pro XL, I think, is actually in the same listing as this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, $899 for the Pro XL. So again, the Pixel 10 series discounted across the board. Although if you want to save even more money on a foldable, I would suggest heading over to Woot, where they are selling the original Pixel Fold for as low as $379. Now, these are, important fine print type things here. Grade A refurbished. Does that give me some pause, some concern? Yeah, I think it does give me a little bit of pause or concern. New open box starting at $399, but still, if you want to get a foldable, like this is going to be your first foldable and you want to start off without spending $1,500, that's also a pretty good way to go. At any given time, there are one of two different sets of earbuds in my pocket. If I'm using a Pixel, it's going to be my Pixel Buds Pro 2. I really, really like these earbuds. I love the way that they actually fit. There's this little wing tip on the side of them there that does a pretty good job of holding them into place. I like the swipe gestures for changing volume. They sound good. Battery life is pretty solid. Right now, instead of $229 there, $168. I've been using these things since Google sent them to me a while back, and they're great. The other earbuds that might be in my pocket and are currently in my pocket, the Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. They are normally $249. Currently, they are $159. Proof right there. Like I said, in my pocket. Anytime I'm using like a Samsung phone, that's what I'm going to be using. I really like these earbuds. They've grown on me a lot. I like the little like swipe gesture here too to lower and raise the volume. You pinch the stem instead of tapping something. I really like that too. But there's also voice controls. You can just be walking around and say volume up and the volume goes up, or play music or pause music or stop music, I think is actually what it is. You can just say that out loud without any other commands and it just does what it's supposed to do. There's a lot of settings. There's a lot of stuff you can do in terms of like equalizer. They sound good. Battery life is solid. Big fan of these earbuds, especially for $159. Now, this is something that I've actually never talked about on this channel, but the CMF Watch The Pro version, the Pro 3, is also on sale. And I actually just purchased one of these. I've been looking for a watch for a while now that has good battery life, doesn't really have, like, I don't really need a lot of apps. I don't need to do much. Really, all I need is notification control, long battery life, maybe some basic health tracking, heart rate, and things like that. And I thought, hey, this actually seems like it kind of fits the bill. I think that maybe, just maybe, you can actually switch phones. You can see right there that I bought it. I think you can switch phones based on some people on Threads answering my question without resetting the watch. So I did grab this kind of greenish colored version because I figured why not? The other colors were kind of boring. So I've heard good things about this watch, right? 4.3 star review, pretty decent. $79. It's a watch that apparently, you know, the battery life is supposed to be very good. They're quoting 13 days. I think that sounds pretty solid. So something that maybe I'll talk about a bit later on the channel. I'll let you know what I actually think about it, but for now, it is on sale. Something else to consider, I was tempted to buy last year's model because it's $49 and it doesn't seem like there's a huge difference between the two, so maybe go even cheaper. This isn't like a crazy deal, but this Taurus grip has been far and away my favorite MagSafe accessory so far. I've got so many of these things. You can actually see them over my shoulder. You can see a ton of them sticking magnetically to that shelf, and I kept switching from one to another, and once I got this thing, it was pretty much done at that point. It's very stiff, so you can use this as a kickstand, but you also do have on the bottom of it this little fabric loop, and it's really easy just to slip your finger through it, and you can just sort of hold the phone like this, and it's quite comfortable to use even when you're in a sort of tablet mode. It's very comfortable, and then like I said, if you need to use it as a kickstand, it's really easy to swivel this thing around and set it up like a kickstand. Again, works fine even when you are in tablet mode. The magnet is actually very strong. So $23 for that, I think, is definitely better than $29. People ask me all the time what case I'm using on my Z Fold 7, and it's just the clear case directly from Samsung. And what I did is I stuck a MagSafe ring to the back of it, and I think that they do actually sell a clear case with MagSafe, but I didn't buy that one. What I did is I went on Amazon, and right now you can get the same ring for $7.64, slightly discounted. Again, nothing too huge, but it works really well. In fact, this magnet is like, it's crazy how strong that connection is. It is never coming off. And of course, if you place it correctly on even something like the Fold 7, you can have room for these MagSafe battery banks, and I'll show you there. Maybe you can see that at the top corner, probably not, but it is indeed charging my device. So it's all about placement when it comes to these things when using the Fold 7. Obviously, your mileage may vary depending on what phone you're using. Coincidentally, the battery bank that I just showed you is currently $59 instead of $89. I really like this one because it is MagSafe and it does attach. You can see this and think, oh, it's got like a little lanyard. And that's true, but the little lanyard is also a USB-C cable that is just always going to be there. It's braided. It feels quite strong, 10,000 milliamp hours, Qi 2, so it's 25 watt certified. Big fan of this battery bank. And I'm also a big fan of this Ugreen NAS. If you are like me and you were getting sick of paying subscription fees to 13 different streaming television services, for $167, now keep in mind you're going to have to go grab some hard drives, look for some hard drives that are made for a NAS to be used that way. They're just going to last a bit longer. Make that investment and then spend some time just gathering your own media. There's many different ways to get that media, but you need to actually have it physically downloaded onto something, and then you can transfer it over to this NAS and then basically use this as your own personal Netflix. And the beautiful thing about that is after you've set this thing up and it's running, it's like completely unattended. You just leave it somewhere plugged into Ethernet, plugged into the wall, and it's going to do its thing, and you can stream whatever you have from it, and it's awesome. Now, they do make some nicer ones, but this is a really good like entry-level device, and instead of being $210, it's sitting right now about $167.99, which I think is pretty fair. This one might seem a little bit out of left field, but this is one of my favorite purchases I have made in a long time. You can see I bought this thing back in 2023. Right now it's $40, and again, there may be, other options out there, but this is the one that I have, and I use it all the time. It is an electric screwdriver. It has a whole bunch of different bits. It's not like super powerful, but it charges over USB-C. It's relatively small. It feels quite well made, and it just absolutely works. There's even a little light on it. I love this thing. And for $40, I think it is a very solid buy. In terms of tech that I personally use on a daily basis, or maybe I intend to begin using on a daily basis, stuff that really stood out to me, I think that's going to be just about it. If you've come across anything else that you think was like a really, really great deal that people would benefit from seeing, drop that into a comment down below. Of course, I'm going to have links to everything I mentioned in the description. And if you click on one of those links and then you make a purchase, I will earn commission off of that. It's a great way to help support the channel and it doesn't cost you a dime. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.